Hey everyone, Kyle here with a brand new series, brand new Let's Play series. We're going to be playing through Darkest Dungeon. I've been playing quite a bit of this game, really enjoying it, so I figured I'd do a series on it. If you're not familiar with the game, the developers describe it as a gothic roguelike about the psychological stresses of adventuring. And we'll kind of get into more of what that means as we go on here. But it does have a lot of roguelike elements to it. There's permadeath, random generation, and all the things that players of roguelikes can tend to expect. So we're just going to kind of jump right in here. As soon as I jump in, there's going to be a little bit of cinematic to kind of explain what exactly is going on in this game, and I'll be quiet during that, and then we'll get started after it begins. So here we go.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Alright, so here we are. We are on the old road, and we are going to see a few of these tutorial hints pop up because I did start a new file, but that's okay. But this is sort of the first mission of the game. It also serves as the game's tutorial. And this game, I should mention, is very difficult. It's so difficult that when the game first loads, there's a warning about just how difficult it is. And I actually appreciate that. But here we are in the tutorial. And I'll just go over a few things here to kind of get us oriented with what's happening here on the screen. So over here where it says the old road, find your way to the hamlet. That's our mission for this dungeon. And dungeons don't necessarily have to be below ground dungeons. That's just sort of the game's language for talking about the missions basically. Up here we have torchlight. This is a mechanic, as you can see, it's 100 right now, so we have a bonus to scouting and a bonus to surprising monsters. We will be able to get torches and different abilities throughout the game to keep that light high. It does decrease as you go through an adventure, so managing the light is one of the things you do have to take care of. As the light gets darker, the monsters you encounter get tougher, but they also drop better loot, so there's a little bit of that risk-reward mechanic. Here we have our two heroes. For the tutorial, we just have these two heroes, and every time you play the tutorial, you start with Reynald the Crusader and Dismas the Highwayman. At least every time I've played through it so far. Every mission you begin with these two characters. Same names, same stats, and everything. So you'll see a couple things about the characters. We have this red bar here, which is their HP, and then below it, these little black boxes with the white rectangles is their stress level. So this game, I said the developers say it's about the psychological stresses of adventuring. So that stress mechanic comes into play a lot. As they go through the dungeons, they get stressed out by things. The heroes get stressed out by if a monster attack is critical, does critical damage to them. That causes stress. Just walking around through a dungeon that has low light causes stress. And lots of different things cause stress, actually. And managing that stress is a pretty key component of the game. Here we have the heroes' abilities and their stats, their armor and their equipment, things like that. We'll go over some of these other things as we move on. Down here is the map. As this is a tutorial, there's just two rooms basically. But between each room you'll see there's these 4 squares. So as we move through the game, we'll basically traverse over these 4 squares on the way to the next room. So I'll go ahead and select this room here.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
So we'll start navigating through the level here, and as we do, we'll cross these squares, and you can just see that little thing that flew up over his head. That was added stress. So now he went from 10 stress to 13, and we did nothing but just walk around in this dark and scary place. So we continue, and here's our first attack.
Thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
So this has a little bit of a tactical strategy element too, kind of like you know, XCOM is probably the most famous recent example of this type of game. But before that, there was Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre. All those kind of games where positioning comes into play for the type of attacks. Up here we have a round counter. That's one. We're in the first round. So we'll all get a turn to attack this round unless certain conditions mean we can attack. And the attack order is decided by this speed stat down here. Now, the abilities work in certain ways too, because as you see here, I'll just highlight open vein here. So you'll see on the left side there's some gray dots, or one gray dot and 3 yellow dots, and on the other side there's 2 red dots and 2 gray dots. What that means is that attack or that ability can be used from any position or anytime the character is in one of those positions indicated by the yellow dot, and they can attack any creature or enemy who's located where the red dots are located. So from the first 3 positions on our side, he can attack the first 2 enemies on the enemy side. This attack here, you can see the dots are connected by a line. That is an area of effect attack, so this one attack will attack all 3 of those enemies in that position. And you can, as well, these characters all have 4 abilities. They actually have a pool of 7 abilities that they can choose from. So every highwayman will have that pool of 7 abilities to choose from, but they'll all come with different varieties of the 4 that they start out with. And you can train new ones and get rid of old ones and all that kind of stuff. And we'll get into that as the game goes on. But for now, I'm just going to use open vein on this enemy. And this is a very stat-heavy game, so it kind of tells you everything that's going to happen. We can see this creature's health. We can see their dodge, chance, their speed. We can see all their different resistances to a bunch of debuffs, stuns, blights. Blights are poison damage over time. Bleed is just bleed damage over time. A debuff, anytime we stun them, that counts as a debuff. And then we can see our chance to hit the enemy, our chance to have a critical hit of the enemy, and how much damage we could potentially do to this brigand cutthroat. So we're going to go ahead and just attack here. We did 5 damage, and he's got the bleed on him. Now it's his turn. He's going to shank Reynold, and Reynold's also going to have a bleed attack. So you can kind of see here, we hover over this, it's 1 damage per round, and it lasts for 2 rounds. You do get bandages and things later on in the game that you can kind of counteract that effect. So here we have the similar layout for the Crusader. We have his attacks, where he needs to be to place that attack, and what enemies he will hit with that attack. And it's just a single enemy, so we're just going to go with, and there we go, he dodged our attack. So now it's Dismas's. I've seen people call him Dimas or Dima. I'm just going to go with Dismas. So we're going to go ahead and just use the same ability again. He resisted the bleed that time, and that's a mechanic in the game. You can't just continually stack up the same. So as you can see there, sorry to interrupt my own thought there, but he got critted, and his stress went way up for getting critted like that. On the other hand, if we crit an enemy, we will have stress reduction.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
So that was a stress reduction, which is good. This amount of damage this early on is really bad, and I've actually died in this tutorial. I've actually lost a character in this tutorial. Luckily, the game kind of accounts for that fact, and it will give us. So when we get back to town, we'll get 2 more members of our party. If we lose one of them here, they'll give us 3, even though we're not supposed to get 3 at a time that early in the game. But they that's how difficult the game is. They know that people could potentially die during the tutorial, and they account for it. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eat this food that we have just to restore a little bit of health. He's still got this bleed on him that's still going to go for a while, which is bad. So we may actually die here in this tutorial, which will be fun. So here's another object, another type of object we'll encounter in the game. It's an interactive object. So you can select the hero that deals with it. And later in the game we'll see that the heroes will start getting traits good and bad. You can kind of see a little bit of that here: hard noggin, quick reflexes, and known cheat. And I am Reynaud is a warrior of light, a kleptomaniac, and God-fearing. So he may just decide on his own whether we want him to open this or not. Because he's a kleptomaniac, he may just say, yep, I'm going in here, and you can't stop him. And the reason you might want to stop them sometime is because damage can occur when they interact with these objects. We're going to check inside the tent, though. They left valuables. We got some gold.
There is much to be found in forgotten places.
It's not always that. It's not always a good result. So you can see we're just walking around, got some more stress. We're going to go through this door and get into the last room. And this is sort of the boss encounter of this dungeon, and it's always here. It's always these two. And it is a pretty dangerous fight. So one thing I think they're trying to teach us here by having this big character is, if you remember, this attack is supposed to be able to attack the first two characters, or first two enemies. But you can see, because this highlighting here is the enemy we can attack. We can't actually get this guy because this big guy is taking up 2 spaces. And I think I kind of want to take this guy out. So what I may do, I may use this pistol shot. I mean, I could do cannon blast, but it only does 2 to 5. I may try to use this pistol shot and take out this guy. Because even though this guy has a lot of health, his damage isn't that good. Where this guy can hurt us with bleeds and all kinds of stuff. So we're going to kind of go after him. And he dodged, so that's not good. Now he can't, I don't think any of his attacks will reach the guy in the back. So we're just going to smite. I could try to stun this guy. It'll do a little bit of damage and stun him and prevent him from attacking. I think I'm going to do that. We did 2 damage, and he did get stunned, so he won't be able to attack that round. So you can see now he got a buff, and now he has 20% stun resist, so we can't just repeat stun him. We can't stun lock him, basically. I'm still gonna go for this guy in the back. Just did 3 damage. Since he's stun resist, I'm gonna just smite him. This could hurt. 7 damage. So characters won't necessarily die when they get hit. When they take a hit, that will go below their health. We'll probably see that here, so I won't talk about it until it actually occurs. We're just going to stick with our plan here, try to take this guy out. I know this guy's dishing out some punishment. This could be bad. Lucky dodge right there. I'm just going to go for another. He lost his... I'm actually going to try to debuff him since he lost his buff to being stunned, or not being stunned. He resisted it anyway. So here we go. So I got crit. So that would have killed me. I took 16 damage, but what it actually did, it put me on death's door. And yeah, the game is actually explaining what happens when we're on death's door. It says, while in this state, they will suffer stat penalties, plus any further damage has a chance to kill them, heal them to get them off death's door. We actually don't have a healer in our party, so he's kind of SOL as far as that is concerned. But he is on death's door. That doesn't necessarily mean he will die. Every time he gets hit, he basically stays on death's door until, you know, a random dice roll basically says, nope, that hit killed you. And you can also see that attack pushed us back. So now we can only use Open Vein on this guy here. This could go bad. We might die. Blanket fire, we dodged. That's good. Alright. I cannot get to that guy in the back. I'm going to try to stun, I think. He got stunned, that's good for us. Alright. Blanket fire, death blow. So I lost a character in the tutorial of this game, and that happens. So here the game is saying, you know what, sometimes you want to retreat. You want to leave the mission. If your characters start dying, leaving the mission is not a bad option. The game wants you to know that that is not a bad option. Unfortunately, here in the tutorial, as you can see, if this is the tutorial, retreat is unavailable, so we can't leave. So Dismas here, our highwayman, is just going to have to take this guy out if he can. Oh, lucky crit there, that's good. Relieve distress, which is also good. Alright, maybe we can... And we killed him. Alright.
faint hope blossoms.
So because that was the victory of this room. In the rooms that we reach, there's always, not always, but a lot of times there's boss battles. So we got some gold, we got some crests, which are things that we use to upgrade our base, which we'll get to in a little bit. And we got this eldritch killing incense, which is an item that it says occultist only. Occultist is one of the classes of the game, and they're the only type that can use that. So we'll take all that stuff. So this chest is always here, and there's never anything good in it. It always hurts, so I'm not even going to open it. It's basically a trap chest, and it just does damage to you and stresses you out. So we're going to click to exit the dungeon. There's our victory. So we got 5,000 gold just for completing the quest. We got 450 gold that we collected during the quest, and we got all of these heirlooms. So you can see he got some Resolve XP. He went up in levels, and here we get trait. He got Hatred of Beast, which means he does 15% damage to Beast, and he also has 15% stress resist, I guess, when encountering Beast, which is good. And poor Reynald here died. So here we go. We're going to go into town. And I believe the narrator is going to tell us a little bit about the town, so I will...
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Alright, so this is the activity log. Basically, every mission in the game takes a week, and at the end of every mission you get this stat, and it kind of tells you everything that happened during the week. So Ruins has been unlocked, which is another dungeon type. Dismas is now Apprentice Highwayman level 1. He leveled up, and it talks about what happened in their dungeon. Here we have some goals that we can complete. Close that. And here we are in the town. So one thing I wanted to point out is that when a hero, you can see he's freaking out. I just cannot bear the thought of going back down there. So as you can see, his stress level stayed with him. His health is going to restore to full before the next adventure, but his stress level is stay there. So there are ways that we don't have him unlocked yet that we can deal with stress. All these places are locked. So we got 2 new locations. We got the stagecoach, which is where our new heroes come into the game.
Soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses, all will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
So over the course of the game, new people are going to keep coming in by stagecoach to join us. Normally, you only get 2 here. And I may have mentioned earlier, but now every party that we send out on a mission has to be 4 characters. So because someone died in our first mission, they sent us 3 people. Right now, we're actually only allowed to have 2. We actually need to increase. We're supposed to spend these artifacts that we collect on our mission to increase the available number of heroes, and I actually am going to do that. And we can increase our roster size. I'm going to do both of those as well. So you can see the next one is going to take these, what are these called? These are deeds, so we're going to need deeds. 6 deeds plus 6 crests to upgrade these buildings. And you always get a Vestal and a Plague Doctor as your next 2 people, and it looks like they just sent us a 3rd Plague Doctor, so we're going to have kind of a weird party here, but it'll be alright. So that we've invited them to join our team, and this is the graveyard where we will just see all the fallen heroes. And it is permadeath. When a hero dies, as far as I can tell, they're gone. You know, it has that roguelike element to it. There's no way to bring back a hero, whether they're, you know, if you've leveled a hero to the highest level in the game or to the lowest level of the game, when they die, they are gone. So losing heroes is, you know, not ideal. It happens in these kind of games, but it's not ideal. We have here, we have our inventory here, so we'll have that occultist, but I don't think this guy's a Plague Doctor, not an occultist. I should mention this game is in early access. I forgot to mention that at the outset. So it's not complete. It's not a complete game yet. But what is here is a ton of content. There's tons of dungeons in the game. The titular Darkest Dungeon has not been added yet. I don't think they plan to add that until the game's full release. They're adding new classes to the game as well, but there are a ton of classes already in the game. There's a lot here. So if normally that early access flag kind of makes you consider a game or not consider buying a game. This one is not one to steer away from just because it is in early access. There's a lot here to like. There have been some bugs along the way, but the developers have been really good about fixing those bugs and just making the game better overall. So we don't have anything else to do here but go out on our next mission, so we will do that. We'll click this embark.
A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
So here this is our mission select screen. Basically you can see these are all locked for now, and as we level up and beat more stuff in the ruins, we will get more missions here. Like I said, the darkest dungeon hasn't been added yet. So we get it's a short mission. It does not involve camping. When we do a mission that involves camping, we'll talk about that. It tells us who can do it. There's a mechanic where if you're higher level than what the mission is, their character just won't do it. They'll refuse to do it, saying like they're above doing a mission that has lower requirements than their level. So here we will see, as we click on these heroes, we can kind of see where they want to be, and we've got a weird thing to deal with here. Well, this is odd. So as you can see, like I talked about, we have 2 plague doctors, but they have different sets of abilities. And because of those different sets of abilities, where they want to be, their preferred position is different, which is actually good for us because we have 2 of them. Our Vestal doesn't really care where she is. She can use her attacks from the front 2, those from the back 2. She have her stun. She's a party heal. She can use that from the back. So if we put her in the back, she's going to lose this Mace Bash, so she'll actually only have Judgment, Divine Grace, which is a heal, and Hand of Light, which I believe increases the torch level and does damage to the enemy. So I guess that's where we're going to put her. And then, let's see, where does this guy? This guy likes being there. Yeah, so we don't have the most ideal setup here. And Demos does not really like being in the front, but I think he can use all of his attacks from the front, except for pistol shot. He loses pistol shot. But if we put one of these guys, don't work in the front, right? Yeah. So normally having that Crusader in the front is what you want, but, here we go. This is the hand we've been dealt. So after you select your team, you go to the provision screen.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
So on this screen, we'll pick our supplies for the mission. And this is just telling us this is a short quest, so we need to bring at least 8 food and 4 torches, and that's about right. I also always bring a shovel. I like to bring at least 1 bandage. That helps us stave off those bleeds. I'll take 8 food, and I'll actually take 6 torches. I don't like, especially with this party, having light higher all the time. I'm actually going to take 8 torches. That leaves us with about 4,000 gold still, which is fine. We'll go over why I'm bringing a shovel if we need to. Now, any of the stuff you buy, if you don't use it, you don't get to bring it back. You lose it. And it also takes up inventory slots. So this is the same place where your treasures that you discovered during the mission go. So if you don't have empty space, you have to get rid of something. So here we go. Off on our next mission. And this is the ruins. Each of the dungeons has its own sort of types of enemies that you can expect to encounter in there. So you can kind of know, like, oh, the enemies in here do lots of bleeds. The enemies in this other dungeon do lots of poison effects. So you kind of know what to bring, which is nice.
Must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
So the mission, this is a skirmish mission. We have to complete 100% of room battles. Here's the map. So what we have to do is go to every room that there is a battle in. Now, we don't necessarily have to go to every room. We might get to this room, and the game will know there's no more battles in these 3 rooms. So then the mission will be complete. But we may have to go to every single room. And one thing to consider is if you go to a room and then you have to backtrack down a hallway, that adds increased stress. from moving around. So just something to keep in mind. So we will just go down to the next room here and start making our way there. So we got some heirlooms. There's a trap on the floor. Sometimes you'll get scouting and you'll be able to see those traps, and then when you do that, you can look and see who has the better trap resistance skill. 15, 15, and 30. So if we scout and are able to see traps on the map, we will have Dismas try to disengage those traps. So we got some gifts, got some gems. Those are just worth gold, basically. As we like to go into a door like this, I like to keep the monster surprise buff up, because usually when you go into a room, that's where you're going to encounter some monsters, and you can surprise them. Let's see if we get it. Nope, they surprised us. So as you can see, not only does surprise basically make you miss out on a turn, but it scrambled us around. So our positions were already not ideal, and now they're even worse. But moving during a battle takes a turn, so you're kind of just stuck with what you're dealt. This is pretty similar to what we had earlier. These Fusiliers are nasty, but I can at least hit 2 guys with this. I may just work on trying to take this guy out. This has a higher crit chance, so I'm going to go to it. It didn't. Plague Grenade. Binding Gas, so that will stun those guys in the back. Both of them. I think we're going to try that. So we got one of them stunned, which is good. Now she is in the front now, so she can actually hit. So I think I'm going to have her do that. Ugh, she missed. She's not, I mean, she's the healer. She's not supposed to be doing melee attacks on people. So you got a bleed effect. I'm just going to try to do Noxious Gas to this guy. It'll attack him and then should blight him.
Death waits for the
so you can see this character got crit, but these two got stressed out by it. So it's not just the character that gets hit that gets stressed out. I'm going to stick with 2 on him. Blanket Fire is going to hit every single one of us. So next time it's Cecil's turn here, I'm going to use a bandage on him. And just what the game is telling me to do. So yep, we're going to go to our inventory here and use a bandage to stop that bleed. And that's exactly why I bought it. I'm going to try to blind him again. Got them both. Alright. Man, she cannot hit. I should probably just focus on having her heal. He's bleeding. We don't have anything to stop it. Yeah, these guys are dishing out. Now we're all bleeding. Yeah, did I mention this game is hard? This game will, like, it is just incredible what it dishes out at you sometimes. In the early missions, I mean, you can just die. No, she can't actually use her heal. She has Hand of Light, which I think will stun. Just does 2 to 5 damage. And keeps our torchlight up. This is not going well. We may be abandoning this mission. He died to our bleed, which is good. We're all still bleeding. Probably take out this Fusilier since he can do that attack that gets us all. That one right there, Blanket Fire, hits us all, of course, no dodges. And as they get below health, they'll start freaking out. Right, we got one more down, just one more to go. So he bled and got put on death's door. So this is an Emboldening Vapor. It gives the target a 15% crit chance. I may try to do that to my highwayman here. He didn't get a crit. Just gonna have her use her melee attack. She kills. She got a kill.
Falls, a faint hope blossoms.
So we'll take all this stuff. I mean, this is bad. I don't have any bandages to fix these people. This guy's on death's door already. I'm gonna move her back here. Which one like to be? Yeah, I'll leave them like this. Wow. I'm gonna keep going, but it's probably, I probably really should be. Now, if you leave a quest, you get any of the stuff you've gotten. So we keep this stuff, we would lose the mission rewards, and when they abandon a mission, they get stressed out by doing that. So, but if he dies, they will definitely all get stressed out. But I think I am gonna go. You know, he's bleeding though. He could just die. Well, now that she's back here, she can use her heal. So what I might do is go to the next room and hope that this bleed falls off before he dies from it, and that she will be able to heal in combat. Let's go ahead and use a torch as well.
In Radiance, may
Nope,
we
and he just
find
died.
victory.
So as you can see, he took a lot of stress just from that guy dying. So another trap. And traps like that can put bleeds on you, and obviously they stress you out.
Unsprung and thirsting.
I'm not
for
going to open
blood.
this just because I'm in a bad place, and there are things that can hurt you in there. So here we are, we're getting scouting. So you can see here on the map, this means we're going to have a battle. This is a chest that we can investigate. This is a bookshelf that we can investigate. We're just going to keep going. Burn another torch real quick.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
So we're just going to be attacking. I'm going to have my healer just party heal, party heal, party heal, and hope that we can live through this. But yeah, it's not looking good. It's not a party heal, it's a single heal. Okay, good to know. Yeah, let's go for the stun back here. It did a crit. We got surprised. Or we got our stress relieved by that. What did that do? I don't know why that moved him to the front. Maybe I misread that. I need to look at that again. He's 5 of 22. They're both 5 of 22. I actually like my Highwayman better than I like the Plague Doctor at this point, so we'll just kind of try to keep him alive. I'm definitely going to probably bail out of this mission soon, though. Not sure I want to know why that move, that attack, like brought him up to the front like that. Let's see if we can get a kill on this guy here.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
That'll mean he can hit this guy. So what does this do? Oh, it is a shuffle. Okay. I don't think this guy can do a lot from this position, which is good for us. He can just do this melee attack on us.
As life ebbs, terrible
Alright, yep, we're
vistas of
definitely gonna heal
emptiness
him.
reveal themselves.
He resisted the bleed there. Alright, one more down. One to go. Pretty healthy enemy though. Back on death's
Teetering
door.
on the brink,
And as you can see, that stresses
facing
him
the
out.
abyss.
Everything stresses him out. That was a good hit. He resisted the bleed. Hopefully we can get a heal off before he dies. Okay. So we're going to heal him.
This expedition at least promises success.
And yeah, I'm going to have to bail out on this mission because these guys are going to die soon, and I don't have, so I'm going to bail out. So as you can see there, we will suffer the stress of defeat. That's going to make his stress go up really high, so he'll be out of commission. Because what happens when they get full stress, they have their valor tested, and they can become amazing heroes. They can, rise to the challenge basically. But more often than not, they'll either go crazy, they'll become really selfish, they won't attack when you tell them to. All sorts of crazy weird things happen. It's really great. It's one of my favorite parts of the game actually, because every playthrough is different. If you watch other people's Let's Plays, what happens when they're on adventures is different because the heroes react in such unique ways every time you play. But we are going to just abandon this mission because we're getting our butts kicked. So as you can see, we did not get the quest rewards, but we did manage to collect almost $4,000 in gold, which is good. They still get some traits. So you got Unyielding, which is a death blow resist, which is really good. She got Love Interest, so in town we'll only visit the brothel for stress relief, and Slayer of Mankind. So it gets humans, she gets more accuracy and a higher crit chance. So this Love Interest in town will only visit the brothel for stress relief. We should be able to unlock some of those things now, so let's just go to town and we'll talk about that more.
I remember days when the sun shone and laughter could be heard from the tavern.
So you can see now it's week 2, the tavern is unlocked and the abbey is now unlocked. So that's the church and the bar, and it says here that we had to flee and that Ghislaine met their final fate. So we just unlocked the tavern. Stress relief.
Fresh kegs, cards, and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
So these are different ways of relieving our heroes' stress, and if you put them in here to relieve their stress, they have to stay there until the week is over. So until you go out on another mission and come back. So you can't use them on your next mission when you put them in here. So we're definitely going to put Dismas in there, but I want to do something because I have messed up before where I didn't get enough heroes to continue. So they are sending me 3 heroes, which is great. So this Hellion, a Jester, and a Leper, which is good. So we could probably put together a pretty good team. I don't like sending people out, with 4 stress or more, but we may just have to. Okay. So Dismas, let's take a look at him real quick. So he has known cheat, so he's not allowed to gamble while in town. So if we go to the tavern, so you can see the gambling hall, and if we try to put it, we can't put him in there. It's best I don't go in. False allegations and all that. So we can either have him drink or go to the brothel. Before we put him in there though, let's see what our upgrades are. So I can upgrade the bar to increase its stress recovery. I believe I will do that because I'm about to put a character in the bar.
And companionship.
I'll do that. So he's in. And what does Cecil like? So he has improved stress reduction while meditating and while camping. So meditation takes place up here in the abbey.
The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The abbey calls to the faithful.
So here's another thing that happens. Sometimes the caretaker will take a slot in one of your stress relief places. So here he is in the transept praying. So that means since we only have 1 space unlocked in the transept right now, that we can't put a hero in there. Luckily, he likes meditation. I believe that's what it said, right? Improve stress release while meditating, which goes in a cloister here. Let's see if we can upgrade the cloister, or we can.
A little hope,
we have
however desperate,
an upgrade to something he likes. So that's good, because we should be able to do a good deal of stress relief for putting these 2 heroes in there. And I believe the more, so this guy costs 1,000. To put someone else in here, the price would go up. It was, the last time I played, it was 1,500. They may have changed that with a patch, but that is at least how it was working. So as you can see here, this guy's in the bar getting his stress relief. This guy, Cecil, is in the church praying. And there's other, I believe we will unlock, yeah, so there's the sanitarium will unlock. That will allow us to remove some of those traits that we see. There's also the guild and the blacksmith's other stuff that we will unlock over time. In the meantime, I think we're going to call this video over. We'll we'll regroup next time and go out on another mission and see if we can maybe accomplish that one with our new team. Having a Hellion is good. It's going to be a good replacement for our Crusader, so that's good. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you like what you saw. If you do, hit the like button down below, subscribe, and I'll be back soon with another video. Thanks, everyone.